Have you ever wondered what happens to your soul the moment your body surrenders to sleep? Do you see only darkness when you close your eyes? Or does an invisible world awaken around you that your senses cannot perceive? Padre Pio of Pietrelcina saw what most never witness. He saw the angels who guard the sleeping. And what he revealed changes everything we thought we knew about rest protection and the hidden battle fought over every human soul when consciousness fades and the body lies defenseless in the night. Padre Pio was a man who walked between two worlds. He lived with one foot on earth and the other pressed firmly into the realm of spirits, where angels moved like flames and demons prowled like wolves in the dark. From his earliest years, God granted him not only the vision of his own guardian angel, but the ability to see the angels assigned to others. These were not distant figures glowing softly in devotional paintings. They were real, active, present. Companions who carried prayers across impossible distances, who shielded souls from unseen assaults, and who mourned when the ones they guarded refused to listen. Padre Pio did not theorize about angels. He lived with them. He spoke to them. He sent them on errands and received them as messengers. And when night fell and the world drifted into unconsciousness, Padre Pio saw what the angels do while humanity sleeps. He once told a spiritual daughter, "When you cannot come to me, send your angel. I will recognize him by the fragrance of your soul." Those who followed his counsel testified that their prayers reached him instantly, even across oceans, as if the angel had whispered directly into his ear during Mass. But it was not only messages that the angels carried. Padre Pio witnessed their vigilance during the most vulnerable hours when the soul is unguarded and the body lies still. What he saw was not peaceful. It was warfare. One night, Padre Pio was granted a vision that shook him more deeply than any encounter with demons. He saw a man asleep in his bed. The room was ordinary. The man's breathing was slow and steady. His body rested unaware. But Padre Pio saw what the man could not. Standing beside him was his guardian angel, radiant beyond description, clothed in light so pure that Padre Pio's eyes could hardly bear it. The angel's face was turned upward toward heaven in constant prayer. His hands were extended over the sleeping man, not touching him, but surrounding him with a presence that formed a kind of invisible shield. And then Padre Pio saw the others. Dark figures circled the room like vultures. They moved slowly, deliberately, testing the edges of the light that emanated from the angel. They whispered, they hissed, they waited for any gap, any momentary weakness in the man's soul that would allow them entry. They did not need to wake him. They only needed to plant a seed, a thought, a temptation, a subtle corruption that would bloom into sin when morning came. The angel did not move. He did not strike at the demons. He simply remained, his presence an unbreakable wall. His prayer rising like incense directly to the throne of God. Padre Pio watched as the demons tested again and again, but the angel's vigilance never wavered. The man slept peacefully, completely unaware of the invisible war being waged over his soul. But then the vision shifted. Padre Pio saw another room, another sleeper. This one too had a guardian angel standing watch. But this angel was different. It was dim, flickering like a candle about to die. His face was turned not toward heaven, but toward the sleeping soul in sorrow. His hands were extended, but they trembled. And the dark figures did not circle this time. They entered freely. They stood over the sleeper, leaning close, whispering into his ear. The angel did not prevent them. He could not. The man had spent his waking hours ignoring every prompting, dismissing every warning, choosing sin over grace so many times that the angel's power to protect him had been reduced to almost nothing. The angel remained because he would never abandon his charge, but his sorrow was unbearable to witness. Padre Pio later said, "The angel stays until the very end, even when the soul refuses him. He stays and he weeps." This is the truth Padre Pio saw. Sleep is not simply rest. It is a battlefield. The body lies still, but the soul is exposed. The conscious mind, which can resist temptation during waking hours, is quiet. The will is dormant. The soul stands naked before forces it cannot see. And the guardian angel assigned by God from the moment of birth stands between the soul and the darkness, interceding without ceasing, carrying prayers upward, deflecting attacks, holding the line through every hour of the night. What Padre Pio saw was not mysticism divorced from theology. It was theology made visible. The Catholic Church teaches that every human being is given a guardian angel from the moment of their existence. This is not symbolic. It is not metaphorical. It is an assignment, a divine commission given by God himself to a specific angel for a specific soul. The Catechism states that God has given to each one of us a personal guardian angel primarily for our own sanctification. But why is this protection most crucial during sleep? Because the soul, while incarnate, is bound to a body that requires rest. When the body sleeps, the conscious faculties that govern choice, discernment, and resistance are suspended. The intellect dims, the will rests, the imagination drifts. In this state, the soul is like a city with its gates open. Evil spirits know this. They do not need to possess. They do not need to manifest visibly. They only need to whisper. A thought during sleep can become a habit upon waking. A temptation planted in the subconscious can take root and grow into a pattern of sin that the person believes originated within themselves. The guardian angel's mission during these hours is threefold. First, he intercedes. He prays constantly to God on behalf of the soul, carrying every need, every hidden cry, every unspoken longing directly to the throne of grace. St. Thomas Aquinas taught that angels take part in all our good works, meaning they do not simply observe. They actively cooperate with every movement toward God. Second, he protects. The angel forms a barrier between the soul and the demonic forces that seek entry. He does not fight them in the way humans imagine. There are no swords clashing in bedrooms. He fights by his presence, by the authority given to him by God, by his unceasing prayer. His very proximity to the soul creates a zone of sacred space that evil cannot easily breach. Third, he guides. Even in sleep, the soul can be drawn closer to God. Dreams that console, memories that heal, inspirations that arrive upon waking. These are often the work of the angel who has been guiding the soul's movements even in unconsciousness. But here is the unbearable truth Padre Pio witnessed. The angel's power is not unlimited. It is conditioned by the cooperation of the soul. A soul that consistently rejects grace, that chooses sin deliberately, that silences the promptings of conscience during waking hours, weakens the angel's ability to protect during sleep. The angel does not abandon the soul. That is impossible. He is bound to his mission until death. But his capacity to shield, to guide, to intercede effectively is diminished. It is as though the angel is forced to stand at a distance watching the soul. He loves walk closer and closer to the edge of a cliff, unable to intervene because the soul has chosen not to listen. Padre Pio described this as the angel's greatest sorrow, not his own suffering, but the suffering of the soul he cannot save from itself. Padre Pio often paused during prayer, his eyes fixed on something invisible to those around him. When asked what he saw, he would sometimes answer, "I am watching the angels carry souls from purgatory into heaven," or "I see the angels struggling for a soul that is on the edge." But the visions that disturbed him most were the ones in which he saw souls asleep, surrounded by darkness, and the angel standing helpless because the soul had closed every door to grace during the day. He once told a spiritual son, "Do you understand now why I beg you to pray before you sleep? It is not superstition. It is survival. When you pray before sleep, you arm your angel. You give him the authority to act on your behalf throughout the night." This is why the church has always taught the practice of evening prayer. The traditional prayer to the guardian angel, "Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here, ever this night be at my side to light and guard, to rule and guide," is not a children's rhyme. It is a spiritual act of entrustment. It is the soul acknowledging its vulnerability and calling upon the one assigned to protect it. When a person prays this prayer, the angel's authority is strengthened. The demons that prowl the threshold of the sleeping soul find their access blocked not by the angel alone, but by the angel empowered by the soul's act of faith. Padre Pio saw another dimension of this reality that most never consider. He saw that the quality of a person's thoughts during the day determines the landscape of their sleep. A soul that has spent the day in gossip, resentment, lust, or pride goes to sleep carrying that spiritual residue. The mind may rest, but the soul is stained. The angel can protect the soul from external attack, but he cannot cleanse what the soul itself has chosen to harbor. These thoughts become the entry points. The demons do not need to force their way in. They are invited by the soul's own unrepented sins. The angel stands watch, but the battle is already lost from the inside. This is why Padre Pio insisted on the examination of conscience before sleep, not as legalism, but as spiritual hygiene. A soul that confesses its failings to God, that repents sincerely, that entrusts itself to mercy before closing its eyes, wakes in a state of grace. The angel's work is unhindered. The demons find no foothold. The night becomes not a battlefield, but a sanctuary. One of Padre Pio's most extraordinary teachings was this: angels recognize souls by their spiritual fragrance. He wrote, "When you send your angel to me, I will recognize him by the fragrance of your soul." What does this mean? It means that every soul emits a kind of spiritual aroma that is perceptible to the angels. A soul in the state of grace radiates a sweetness that attracts the angels and repels the demons. A soul in mortal sin emits a stench that the angels mourn and the demons pursue. This is not metaphor. Padre Pio described it as a literal spiritual reality. He could tell when someone's angel arrived carrying a message because he could sense the purity or corruption of the soul that had sent it. During the night, when the soul sleeps, this fragrance either invites or repels. A soul that has prayed, that has lived in charity, that has resisted sin during the day, Sleep surrounded by a kind of spiritual atmosphere that the angel can work within easily. The demons are repelled by it. They cannot bear proximity to a soul that resembles Christ. But a soul that has spent the day in selfishness, cruelty, or impurity sleeps in a spiritual fog. The angel is still present, but his work is like trying to carry light through thick smoke. The demons move freely because the soul has given them permission by its choices. Padre Pio once said, if people understood what they do to their angels by their sins, they would weep day and night. This is why the saints have always taught that the state of the soul at the moment of sleep prefigures the state of the soul at the moment of death. Sleep is a rehearsal for death. The body becomes still. The conscious will is suspended. The soul stands before God. Its defense is lowered. Its truth exposed. If the soul has lived in grace, the angel carries it gently through the night, and death will be the same. A gentle carrying into the presence of God. But if the soul has lived in sin, the night is a struggle, and death will be a terror. This is not punishment. It is consequence. The soul becomes what it has chosen to become, and the angel can only accompany, not coerce. Padre Pio's teaching on the guardian angels during sleep is ultimately a teaching about love. The angel does not protect the soul because it is deserving. He protects it because God loves it. The angel does not intercede because the soul is grateful. He intercedes because that is his mission. The angel does not abandon the soul in its sin because God does not abandon. This is the mystery of divine mercy. Even when the soul chooses darkness, God assigns a being of pure light to stand beside it, waiting, hoping, praying for the moment when the soul will turn back. Padre Pio saw this and wept. He saw the patience of the angels. He saw the sorrow of the angels. He saw the relentless, tireless, unceasing love of the angels who never sleep, who never grow weary, who never stop fighting for the souls entrusted to them. The practical application of this teaching is simple but profound. Before you sleep, pray, not out of obligation, but out of love for the angel who will stand watch over you through the night. Examine your conscience. Confess your sins. Ask forgiveness. Entrust yourself to God. Speak to your angel by name if you wish, or simply say, guardian angel, I trust you. Protect me tonight. Pray for me. Guide me. This prayer is not magic. It is cooperation. It is the soul acknowledging its need and empowering the angel to act. Padre Pio promised that every soul who does this faithfully will wake in greater peace, greater clarity, greater strength. The battles fought during the night will not leave scars. The temptations planted will not take root. The angel's work will be effective because the soul has given him permission to work. And when you wake, thank your angel. Acknowledge his presence. Live the day in a way that honors the one who has guarded you. Avoid the sins that weaken his ability to protect you. Cultivate the virtues that strengthen his mission. Remember that you do not walk through life alone. From the moment of your conception until the moment of your death, a being of light created by God specifically for you walks beside you, fights for you, prays for you, loves you with a love that never fails. Padre Pio saw this truth. He lived it. And he died whispering the names of those who had accompanied him through every night of his life. Jesus, Mary, angels. Do you see now what happens while you sleep? Do you understand the invisible battle fought over your soul every night? Your guardian angel does not rest. He does not grow weary. He does not abandon his post. He stands between you and the darkness, carrying your name to heaven, whispering your need to God, shielding you from the forces that would destroy you. And when morning comes and you wake to face another day, it is because your angel has held the line through the night. This is not fantasy. This is the reality Padre Pio saw, and it is the reality that surrounds you whether you believe it or not every time you close your eyes and surrender to sleep.